Alright guys, TacticalRab here again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Cheating is ever present right now as a topic of discussion in the Call of Duty world, and Kenny believes that especially in challenges, there are potentially multiple players cheating like Jimbo to try and get their chance in the CDL. But Shotzzy and Dashy believe that it's even possible some players could be doing this in the league itself. Pred believes, hopefully, that's not the case at all, but can you entirely rule it out given the ineffectiveness of the anti-cheat in this present title? Very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new. As always, I greatly appreciate it. This is a beautiful rendition, by the way, here of Skid Row, which would be, I think, much more beautiful to play and to watch, to be fair, than a current version is. Couple of quick things from Clay here. Thought this was kind of wild. 10 years ago, when this was made, of course, when it was an OpTic gaming back in the day. Obviously, that's COD Ghost, right, that season. That, of course, had that team of Scump, Nade, Clayster, and Proofy that won the X Games that year, man. To think that's a decade ago that Proofy had that 4-piece on Sovereign Search and Destroy. Pretty wild stuff. So yeah, that's what Clay says, man. 10 years, pretty wild scenes. Ravens actually managed to not make the Thin Ice teams for the breakdown. So it's kind of wild how many teams there are right now that are just shambolic. And I don't think Ravens are especially good either, let's be frank. But there are teams that are worse, for sure. Surge are on here. Minnesota Rocket are on here. Literally Thin Ice for them, right? Because they have no ice, like as we've seen in multiple of these Game 5s. Miami are in a shambles, and then Gorillas lost to Surge, so that automatically qualifies them, as far as I'm concerned, to be down here in this category. So there's lots of teams that are pretty terrible, but it's obviously heating up massively right now at the top of the league. Quickly on Minnesota, though, this is interesting, to be fair. Accuracy is the #1 damage dealer in the game right now. Now, I guess it's probably better to look at this in terms of, like, damage per series as opposed to total damage, just because Minnesota have played lots of series. They've already played 5 this split. Of course, they played all the qualifiers in the first split. And they played lots of the major because, you know, they went through winners, then through losers. They played lots of series. But fair enough. I mean, Lins, Vivid, and Accuracy. Accuracy, #1 damage dealer in the league, is pretty wild. Don't expect this to last. The teams that make it deep at the upcoming tournament, if Minnesota don't, will probably take over these numbers. And also, Minnesota love a Game 5. Right, so they've played lots of maps this season as well. I don't think this is an incredibly useful stat. Probably more useful is like, right, damage per 10 minutes or damage per 3 maps played or something to that effect. But right at the top of the league, we had the big FaZe versus Ultra matchup last weekend. Lots of debate on what that's going to look like when we get to LAN, because it's quite likely FaZe and Ultra will match up again in Miami at some point. We know that Scrappy Drazah is going to probably be the key talking point there, but also, are FaZe able to replicate what they did online to Toronto on LAN? Sure, we know about the vetoes that Toronto went for, which were rather interesting, shall we say, giving FaZe the maps that they wanted to play. But there was some talk here in this interview with Monster Energy from the FaZe guys. So Crowder was commenting on this, and also Simp gave some thoughts on this as well, talking about how when they scrim Toronto, they're close games. Either we win a majority of the maps or they do. It's all pretty close, all 20-point games, and basically saying that they are the 2 teams to beat as it presently stands. Simp, however, made some interesting comments here further down on just how their preparation is. So Simp says the following: I feel really confident in all of the maps that we play, to be honest. Our worst map is a super close match with most teams if we lose it, and on every other map, I feel like we're going to blow people out. At this point, our map pool is godlike. Soon enough, we won't be losing anything. So, you know, it's funny, right? Because Ake said the other day, these FaZe guys, man, they don't have the dog in them. And I kind of agree at some point, to be fair. But, you know, they've got to get more cocky. And then Drazah comes out after the series against Toronto and says, Toronto are trash. These guys are terrible. New York are trash. We're going to slam at the major. We're the best team in the game. And now Simp is saying, yeah, give us a couple of weeks. We're not going to be losing anything, right? So pretty scary for Simp. But to be fair, I know we've heard these comments before, such as back in Vanguard. And, yeah, that didn't necessarily work out. They made lots of finals. They didn't win many finals. But I think it's an interesting spot for FaZe and also for Toronto as well, because we know that the map pool has probably shifted to favour FaZe slightly more. Toronto lost their Skid Row Search and Destroy that they loved, and with Rio coming in, they haven't proved to be as good at that map as maybe I expected them to be, and it doesn't seem like their favourite map. Whereas for FaZe, they do seem to love the Rio. Of course, they played a Rio Search against Ultra, and of course, FaZe won it in that round 11, which is a pretty wild map. But still, it's interesting to see how this one is trending, and I think for FaZe, the map pool changes probably helped them to some degree. They obviously like the Rio a fair bit. Their worst map is their sub base, at least as far as we are aware. fair, they've lost that plenty of times, but Simp says that it's a super close match with most teams if we do lose, but they can still win it. And then every other map, they're going to smoke people. Our map pool is godlike. So, yeah, I don't know. The cockiness is coming to play here, it seems, for the FaZe guys. And I think it's going to be a very telling weekend or two at the top of the standings, because FaZe, Toronto, New York, I think have all shown signs lately that they can be the winners of Major 2. Obviously, New York actually beat FaZe in 5 just the other week. This weekend, however, we do have the very first OpTic Ultra battle of the season. A matchup that over the last, well, certainly in Cold War, a matchup that Ultra just dominated in Game 5 pretty much all season long. This time, though, key matchup absolutely this upcoming weekends. It's going to be really interesting to see. My feeling is that OpTic need to win, or at least go very competitively with at least one of these two series, right? I think that OpTic, not even just in terms of whether they're good enough, because I think OpTic are good enough to win the event, but it's more a confidence thing, right? If they come into this series, they lose to Toronto 3-1 kind of comfortably, they lose to Subliners as well the next weekends, they won't feel as confident going into the major as though the other teams will. So I think OpTic need to win one of these series, or at least keep it competitive, and hopefully we can see we have 4 legitimate contenders, because I don't think there's going to be any other team outside of the top 4 theoretical teams that can win this upcoming event. It's a question of whether we have 4 contenders or whether we have 3, which we may presently have. I know that Puckett as well has been on the broadcast kind of saying that, you know, maybe OpTic aren't quite there yet. This weekend is going to be quite telling on that front, I'd say. And sure, OpTic are 4-0 so far, but they're a rather fortunate 4-0 based on that Rocker series, I would say, and they haven't played the strongest competition yet. FaZe, by the way, does have Ultra's number historically. Previously to Scrappy, they dominated the matchup 14-3 over the last couple of years. But with Scrap, it's now only 6-5. So, yeah, I think that's, possibly something that's going to change. We've got to talk about some of this cheating stuff, right? Because there's been lots happening lately. Of course, Doug Sensor Martin's been going off on the main stage about it for some time. Yesterday, however, Ricochet Anti-Cheat deployed upgrades to combat cheating. Do we really think that it does anything? No, apparently it does. 26,000 accounts were banned yesterday. So congratulations. Is that a big number? To be fair, it probably is a reasonably big number. Will those people get another account, buy the game again and keep hacking? I don't know. Maybe. Hopefully not. But yeah, apparently enhanced protections and increased response times for the kernel level driver on the PC. Speed optimizations for detections in ranked. Third-party hardware device detection upgraded. So it's good to see that they're at least trying to work on this. It's understandably a difficult situation to handle. The cheat developers are often, it seems, just ahead of the cheat detection software manufacturers, and unless it's like incredibly strong, it's going to be really difficult to counter. And I imagine that most of the accounts that get banned are probably like the pretty, I don't know, the dodgy cheat sites. I imagine there's probably some sort of discrepancy in terms of there's probably some cheating software that's pretty bad and easy to catch, and there's probably some that's like really high level stuff. And if you're a pro or if you're an amateur player that's trying to get away with this, you're probably going to use the premium stuff. So that's been one of the discussions over the last couple of days. Here's Afro here on the Los Angeles Thieves podcast, but, you know, they were discussing in quite some detail, really, the whole hacking drama around the league as it stands. Obviously, ranked play was where a lot of their focus was, but the OpTic guys the other day were also discussing how this looks in terms of challenges in the CDL. We know the story about Jimbo last year at the Challengers World Championship, and as far as Shotzzy and Dashy are aware, it's not implausible that somebody could be trying this in the league.
I remember back in the day in MW2, like you had to, somebody had to jailbreak
like a challenge lobby, was it? Challenge
to like get Master Prestige and all the calling cards and shit.
Well, there was like JTags.
JTags. So actually, no, that wasn't jailbreak. That's JTag, right?
Yeah, JTag. Well, it was like the same. It was basically the same shit.
Yeah, that shit was so fun.
But I think in the
that
future,
shit was so fun.
People are gonna test their limits, bro. I'm telling you, dude.
But the thing, people like cheating in ranked is like
people are cheating in challengers.
I mean, Jimbo basically.
I'm not letting that slide. People are cheating in challengers.
Yeah. Like, Jimbo tried running it.
He actually got himself in the league by cheating.
Was he cheating before that?
Yeah,
had to have been, right?
100% he was.
He was ass in the league, respectively.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. In the league, he just like he got himself there. Then he just tried to go like.
He tried running. Maybe
he tried to go like sober.
Sober. He tried running in sober.
Bro, getting banned at champs is comedy though.
No, he said
he didn't tweet it since. He was like,
he didn't.
I'm pretty sure he said that. He was like, oh yeah, they're checking it out. I should be unbanned soon.
Wait, doesn't? But don't he has a? Apparently, he like remade like he made his Twitter. He changed his name and now he like streams Val or something like that. Y'all don't see that?
Yeah, his name's like Leho.
Yeah, it's like some other. Yeah.
Wow.
Lao, yeah, Lao.
Some hacker name. Some shit that's like, if you were hacking, you'd switch to the shit loud. This is a name. Look, I swear I've seen that name hack against me, God. LAO?
But you know what? Doug was on his ass for so long. No one believed him. Doug might be the fucking... That's the higher end.
Doug just might have to retire and just like work in like anti-cheat department. Because he's low-key an investigator, bro.
No, yeah, but he was definitely walling his cock off. For sure. But nah, I'm telling you right now, I'm calling it. There's gonna be more people like that, dude, in the future. 100%.
I hope there is.
But bro, you could literally cheat and like no one can know you're cheating. Like with that one bullshit. I don't know what the
in
fuck
the
it's
league,
called,
you can't do that shit.
In the league, you can do it,
No,
but it's
because
just
you have
hard
to play.
to get.
No, you still could do it in the league.
That's
I
the
mean,
thing,
that
dude.
ass.
I'm telling you.
You could literally hide it.
No way. Impossible.
100%.
Impossible.
No, but the thing
100%.
is, if you get caught in the league, you're auto banned.
Bro,
So
everyone
it's like-
knows everyone in the league. Like everyone has background checks on them, and they're gonna have to come to LAN eventually.
Well, no, yeah. At LAN, they can't do it. I'm saying.
Bro, I feel like it'll be-
I'm saying online.
What's the point of them doing it online and getting to LAN and dropping?
But like for seeding, you never know what people are
Nah,
thinking.
bro, I feel like it'll be too obvious, bro. You know what I mean?
way
Like
too
the only
obvious.
way somebody could actually get away from hacking if it was already a good
Bro,
player.
just imagine someone just randomly just started like.
That's what I'm saying,
dropping
being God.
1.5s.
I always thought that, like, if you were already godlike, what if you just started hacking? No one would just say you're hacking. No,
That's what I'm
they'd just
saying.
be like, he's him.
That's dope, man.
He's
He's different.
What's your sound, dude?
Yo,
Fucking
Yeah.
I'm about to just randomly hack one day, see if people see it.
So the Jimbo story, of course, was the main one. We don't really know if he was hacking before he got a chance in the league or if he was actually hacking in the league. As Dashy says, he wasn't especially good in the league. He was all right in the league, Jimbo, to be fair. I think the fact that he was playing from Canada did make it difficult. And when he went to LAN for Vegas, he was actually all right. And I don't imagine he was cheating on LAN. So it's like you've got players with clearly some talent, but if they turn the hacks on, they go God mode. And we saw some ridiculous clips of Jimbo during the whole saga last year in Modern Warfare 2. Thankfully, he's now got it out of the scene and banned and vanquished effectively, but he was only caught because he was had cheating software on his PC in the lead up to the Challengers World Championship. Turns up to LAN and his account gets banned for hacking. So fair enough, Ricochet actually did something on that occasion, so maybe Jimbo didn't have the premium hacks that we were just talking about that maybe go undetected, I don't know. But, if players like Jimbo were doing it and potentially got away with it for some time, then what about other players trying to do a similar thing? And that's the feeling that in Challengers, for sure, there are some players that are dodgy. Doug Sensor Martin was railing against Jimbo for some time, saying that this guy's dodgy and all this. People maybe didn't believe him, but eventually, of course, turned out to be true. I'm sure there's other players as well. You don't want to make false accusations because that can hurt people's careers. And sometimes it's difficult for the pros not to do that because it's understandable. They see some guy, they think he's probably hacking. But in the pro league, that's the real question. Would anybody have the balls to try this, I guess, is one point. The other point, though, is have players been using cheating stuff in the league before? And will people cheat for a competitive advantage on the highest level? Yes, we see it in all sorts of sports, and even in COD League. We have seen back in MW19 the start glitch that was discovered by certain teams and not mentioned by others, which is basically when you died, you could press the start button and it'd bring up the big minimap, and it would show you the arrow from the person who was in the kill cam, so you'd get to see all of where the enemy team was in the start glitch. That was something that was discovered, and with the pros that figured out about this, they didn't tell anybody. They used it to gain that competitive advantage, and the same story with sound equalization. Belief is that people found out about sound EQ back in Cold War. We didn't find out about it in the public perception for like 2 years. By the time everybody knew about it, now it's been officially, GA'd by the pros and banned by the league in a LAN environment. But it's not like players won't use things to their advantage and not tell anybody about it. Now, would anybody really have some wall hacks out of the pro league? You'd love to think no. And obviously, transferring that over to a LAN environment is a different story, right? Doesn't matter if you just slam people online all the time if you then go to LAN and get absolutely fried. But it kind of does, because seeding does matter, right? Nowadays, if you could dominate online, let's say you go 7-0 every online split, even if you get slammed in the major, you're still going to qualify for champs because you're just going to have so many points on the board, and you're going to have the best seed for the major, one of the best seeds, so you get to not start in losers and all this stuff. So it's one of those things that I don't think you can entirely rule out the possibility of, but realistically speaking, is probably not the case. But as Dashy says, if you're a good player that's a proven player, and you just use something to your advantage, Game 5, Round 11, in a crucial moment, then you know, is anyone really going to know about this? It's a question. If the anti-cheat was better, we wouldn't have to worry about these problems. But the reality is right now that it's kind of all guesswork as it stands. So very much intrigued your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.